We have to bring you AUUC right on the doorstep. Huang puts it in a little low. He's not going to be able to secure that first point for AUUC. AUUC playing out of the light and blue uniforms. Le Coq Sportif for LCS to save us a little bit of time as this match gets underway. Playing out of the dark kit here. Big shot goes up. Blades early. It's going to be received well by Lachlan Finger. Goes back through. Jake Betson. Chip shot through with a lot of momentum to have Rankin working through the midfield. Jean Maehr working on that near sideline now. Betson available as the reset if needed. Kavanagh has the disc. Nice quick shot through. Well taken in by Jean Maehr by way of Mitch Rankin for an early score for LCS, Le Coq Sportif. So we are currently in round 3, Lucy, of our Division 2 Mixed Ultimate Championships Day 1. We're working through a Swiss draw, so teams don't actually know who their next opponent is going to be. When you have a fixed draw, when you've got pools and you know that, hey, in round 4 we're going to be playing the Globo Gym Purple Cobras or whoever, you can kind of stage things out. Maybe that's a game where we're going to be doing load management. You don't have the privilege of that in Swiss draw, and part of it is because we've got such a deep field, some 20-something teams at this tournament. We know that teams aren't going to be able to play all of their opponents, as Rankin puts up that beautiful shot, and then the walk-off as well, as Jean Maehr pulls that one down. So teams don't know who they're going to be playing, so we're kind of, every game is crucial, every game is super important. And we've just started. We're 1 up for the Australian side. How are you finding the tournament so far?
Oh my gosh, I'm absolutely loving it. It's another beautiful day here in Kirikiri, which helps. But the games have just been nail-biting. Gosh, one of the ones the round before, was it the Mount versus Christchurch?
Absolutely, yeah. Kindred versus the Mount, folks. If you haven't seen it, add it to your watch later. Save that bad boy to your YouTube playlist. It's definitely worth checking out. Nailbiter doesn't even come close. I think I've chewed off half of my fingers. We're going to see LCS, Le Coq Sportif, send off the pull to kick off the second point of the game. Goes deep into the AUUC space. 2 players focusing on disc movement to start things off. We've got a vertical stack trying to create channels on the near and far sidelines for some great deep cuts. Some good defense, but it can't stop a break throw going around the outstretched hands of Toby Walsh on the defense.
Good movement happening.
Oh, not able to secure the disc. Sportif with an opportunity to push back the other way. Larson with a big left hand near sideline. Roberts has it. Aggressive on the mark, but he's able to get through.
Looking for the cut.
Finds Walsh on a nice backhand. To Joey Ho for the score, number 2 for Le Coq Sportif, both in terms of player and in terms of points as they go 2-0 over AUUC.
And this is part of that Swiss draw, isn't it, where you don't quite know who you're going to play, and bottom-ranked teams can play higher-ranked, and just waiting to see how it all pans out at the end.
Yeah, so the ideal with regards to something like a Swiss draw, we're looking to have as many competitive matches as we can. So if, for example, you've lost your first 2 games, it's kind of expected you would be placed up against another team who's had a similar performance in the first game. Okay, and the idea is that I always talk about the idea of like steel sharpens steel. And so playing against a team who is on your level is one of the greatest growth opportunities. You will learn a lot from being fed a bagel in a game like this. If they go 13-0, you will learn a lot, but you won't be able to put it into practice unless you're against a team who's at a similar competitive level. So one of the benefits of a Swiss draw, as we move out of pool play into bracket play, teams will have had a really great opportunity to play against teams at their level, and then a few above, a few below to kind of calibrate in and figure out where they expect to finish this tournament.
Definitely, it's really beneficial, and lots of learning happening, like you said. We don't want to get anyone disheartened with those massive scores, but you know, once again that Mount team proved us that anything could happen. So yeah, let's see what happens here on this field today.
Okay, Maehr with the pull, flying in low and flat, touching down around the brick mark, some 18 metres in front of the AUUC defensive end zone. Seeing AUUC set up once again in that vertical stack, pushing towards the far sideline. A zone defensive look from Le Coq Sportif, looking to shut down space in front of the disc, not adhering to their players the way that you would in a match defense. And it works for them. A turnover generated by Amy Finger to give Le Coq Sportif an opportunity to go 3-0. Mitch Rankin working the far sideline. Maehr, who's already put one score on the board. Oh, great attempt. It's not quite going to be enough. We've got Lachlan Finger hoping something develops. Maehr running. Oh, eaten up by the aggressive AUUC defense. A necessary turn to keep them in the match. A lot of pressure on the disc now, but they're able to get away a reset, giving up a few yards in the process. Disc is back towards the center field. That's where they need it to give themselves as much room as possible to work out of this dangerous territory. Very close to their own defensive end zone. Some smart, patient disc movement. They've got 10 seconds with the disc as counted by the player marking them. And ultimately, that's what it comes down to, that 10 seconds at a time. It's just slightly overthrown. He couldn't get it in hands. Mitch Rankin with the disc up and over the top, but the defense says no. A great touch, a really good reaction there off an attempt at a fast break by Rankin. AUUC in possession now. That same zone defense that we're seeing. Players recognizing when to stick to a player and when to leave to pick up the next best threat. Big blade comes over the top. Up and over. A little bit of a miscommunication there. I don't think that the intended receiver there was expecting that disc. And one of the perils of playing a fast break style is that if the player's not ready for it, it's going to make it hard. But Le Coq Sportif put it away, making it look easy. Another big shot from Rankin to close that one out. Some fantastic offense on display from the Australian side, who have issued their own Division 2 championships in order to come over to New Zealand and show us how it's done.
Oh, that's fantastic. I didn't quite realise that they had to qualify to come over. That's amazing.
No, what's actually happened is that the way that the Australian mixed championships have structured, they had so many teams in their Division 2. Their Division 1 was actually last week, which is really uncommon. They've had to shift things around. Typically, you would finish the season with a Division 1 championship. Their Division 1 was last weekend. Their Division 2 is actually happening concurrently.
Oh.
And so, in terms of maybe what they're trying to get out of the season, and I mean, considering how big Australia is, it's probably the same cost equivalent to fly from one side of the country as it is to come over to New Zealand and compete instead. And so that's what a few of our Australian teams have come to do, to kind of boost our field a little bit. But it's good to get some of our players with a little bit more international experience as well, to see how things are done ultimate-wise on the other side of the ditch.
Yeah, definitely. And it's always a good challenge to see someone new, see how the Kiwis are doing it, and change the competition up, see some different faces and different styles. So, explain to me, Blair, quite similar styles of play from New Zealand to Australia?
For the most part, I would say that sort of on a global stage, I would say that Australia and New Zealand probably reasonably similar in terms of the way they do things. When you look towards some of the Asian countries, Japan, and also some European countries like Germany, they'll run a little bit of a different structure in terms of offense. When we talk about a horizontal stack, we'll typically have sort of 3 players around the disc and then 4 in the downfield. Some other nations will utilize almost a 3-2-2, so they'll have a kind of a midfield activity and then downfield activity. But New Zealand and Australia, maybe different sort of skill priorities, but a lot of structural similarities, so it makes for a really interesting match.
Right.
Huang puts the big shot up, looking for a score for AUUC, but it fades away. And Angus Halliday shuts that one down emphatically, putting a full stop on that possession for AUUC.
And it went out in that end zone, so they just bring it to that first line, don't they?
Yeah.
And take it from there.
Yep, so it's a long field for Le Coq Sportif to bring up, so 64 metres of play ahead of them if they want to put the score away. But we've seen, particularly when you've got players like Rankin, like Walsh, both of the fingers as well, Maehr, who can do a great amount of work in terms of long throws. In fact, we're already seeing a great long cut developing from our player in the 2-2 there, Lachlan Roberts. And there's that 64 metres eaten up.
Oh.
Can't communicate with Angus Halliday, hoping to give him the bookends as he generated the turn over the other end, giving him the opportunity to score over here. It's a nice little way to kind of cap off a possession. But the disc instead going back to AUUC, up and over. Oh, tough trailing edge catch. It's not a fun one to make. Big fake from Strawn. Pushing to Roberts on the far side of the field. A Balaic performance to pull that one down, to the surprise of very few, considering his outfit. Oh, reeled in. The question as to whether or not it was out. It looks like they're calling it out. So that first point of contact was going to have been outside the far side of the field.
And how many teams have Auckland got here today for us?
There are definitely a few. Euphoria Ultimate Club have put in 2 teams. Their Masters team, You Forgot, and their second team, Euphoric. We have AUUC, we have Tough Cookies. Beyond WoW, I believe, is Wellington, but we also have Matchbox Ulti, which is a lot of sort of the youth based out of Auckland.
Fantastic. Great to see such a growing sport.
Absolutely. And a nice little pirouette there to finish from Lachlan Roberts as Le Coq Sportif go to 4 over AUUC's 0.
So if someone was interested in joining Ultimate Frisbee, seeing it for the first time today here on Ultimate TV, what would be their way of doing that?
Oh, that is a great question, Lucy. So a lot of our regional bodies will either have Facebook groups nearest biggest city to you, whether or not it's sort of Wellington or Auckland, whatever it is. Go on, chuck the word Ultimate in there in a Facebook search, and you're probably going to find the Facebook group, or possibly even same thing for regards to Instagram, whatever social media you're using. But Waikato Ultimate, Wellington Ultimate, Christchurch Ultimate, or Canterbury Ultimate, I suppose. Otago Ultimate as well. Just looking them up, find the nearest one to you. They'll often talk about upcoming events, upcoming leagues, have a go days when they run them, those kind of things. The information is out there, and for the most part, we're a pretty welcoming community. I'm probably one of the least savoury members of it. So if you find my voice not particularly intimidating, then you are going to have an absolute easy time trying to integrate into these communities.
Awesome. Yeah, it's fantastic. Morrinsville's got a great little club going on as well, and I'm really enjoying being part of that, so it's good fun.
Well, I'm glad to have you here as well. So, Sportif with the pull once again. Mitch Rankin puts it up. It's floating. It's going to be fielded. Curry has the disc now. Resets to the centre field.
Thought that got caught by the wind a little bit there.
But it's Curry and Leong working now. Goes back to Isaac Leong. Pushes far sideline, just overthrown. Can't get the connection there. An opportunity for Sportif to go 5-0 here. We might be seeing a repeat of that Kindred Mount match.
Yes, wouldn't that be good? That'll keep us on our toes.
Maehr already stretching into the deep space. Rankin manages to find Betson on that far sideline. Doesn't look into the deep space instead, looking to recenter the disc. Rankin's got it. Walsh about to get involved. Walsh pushing that line. There it is. A take behind the back. Pushing up. I called it. Maehr in the end zone for the score as Sportif go 5-0.
Some lovely play down that sideline. We'll watch the replay here.
So we've got Rankin with the disc. Goes to Betson. You can see Walsh starting his cut in response to that throw, which is really, really great. That trust in the teammates before Maehr pulls that one down, slamming on the brakes just before her momentum carries her out of the sideline. But it's here at that release of the throw that Walsh has already started his cut, and it's about trust. He knows that Betson's going to get that one in hand. He's going to get it in hand, and I know that he's got a quick turnaround before he can be ready to throw again. I want to be ahead of my defender, even if it's just 1 or 2 steps, and moving into space, so by the time he's got the disc, he can just get it to me 5-6 meters away from him.
Beautiful play.
Yeah, when they're able to string those sequences together, that's where we've seen a lot with regards to our first match when we had Morrinsville versus the Mount. Benedicto, number 12 versus the Mount, versus Rotorua. Benedicto was doing a huge amount of that, sort of one-man, dictating what's happening on the field. And our final point for that game, we got to see Simon Cole do the same thing, running that Dominator sequence for Morrinsville to finish out. So when that timing, when that trust is there, it results in some really, really good ultimate. It moves away from the long ball that we've seen a lot historically and into a lot more, I guess what you'd refer to as tick attack. And they're going to call that a dropped pull. So because it made contact with the player before hitting the ground and he didn't catch it, that constitutes a turnover. So letting it hit his shins actually generates a turn here and gives Le Coq Sportif an opportunity to go 1 away from half if they can close out here.
How unlucky for Auckland.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's disappointing, but unfortunate.
Yeah, it's one of the perils. There are a couple of places in the rules that are there to catch you. We've got Eva Strawn with the disc, starting things off for Sportif, trying to reset to Roberts with an inside break, manages to find it. A beautiful finish. That's Joey Ho again. I don't know what that was, but hey, she's earned the right to celebrate. Le Coq Sportif 6-0, 1 away from half, as we mentioned. Because we're looking at our pool play for day 1, we're running games to 13 points with a 75-minute time cap. So the first team to score half is to score 7 points rather is going to take half. So we'll have a little bit of a break there, and then we'll come back with the second half and see what happens. So Strawn again with that disc. Engages Roberts early, a little bit of faking to kind of keep up with him, the inside break. And we're going to see here Joey Ho 2 steps ahead of the defense. Nice and wide open. It's this engagement here, you'll see. Looks at Robertson, little bit of movement to try and trick the offside defender. And then here we go. Roberts up and over to Joey Ho for the score.
Beautiful.
And so a timeout has been called, which makes sense, right? AUUC, you've just given up 6 points back-to-back. You haven't been able to answer. There's been a little bit of sort of mistakes and the yips almost that have kind of crept in. And so the question is, what do you change?
Exactly.
And so you call a timeout and have that discussion. Right, guys, what do we need to do to get us back in this game? Can we put 1 on the board before things finish up?
Oh, that would be ideal for them, I think, going into the halftime break with something on the board would just boost a bit of confidence. Maybe they need to move some of their players around, think about their lines, think about their experienced players who can set up plays and just see what's out there. This Auckland team's very new to me. I don't recognise many of these faces, so it's quite tricky to see who are their experienced and who are their new ones. Oh, it looks like we've got a huddle in the middle there from our Australian team.
Yeah, I mean, and the flip side there, right? I mean, I love what you were saying about the way the AUUC can respond to what's happened so far. Oh, they're all sitting on each other. That's trust. That's something. Yeah, mixing up the lines a little, maybe playing a little with the chemistry. I always say that there are 3 lines that are going to win a game of Ultimate: your offensive line, your defensive line, and your sideline, because the communication becomes a huge part of it. But it's also about how you communicate with one another on the field.
Yeah.
If you've got particularly strong personalities that maybe clash, or maybe you need someone who's just really solid and consistent who can fit in anywhere, you slot them in for a couple of points. Maybe leveraging some of the chemistry that you've built up through trainings in the lead up to this tournament to see if that change will make a difference.
Definitely.
It's not uncommon across the course of a tournament to see someone be essentially recruited across from the defensive line to start playing a lot more offense, and it's maybe because the O-line's a little not necessarily sloppy, but where things are a little wibbly, or maybe you've got a few lower percentage options coming off and you need someone who's just a little bit more solid to come in.
100%.
You know, it's just a piece fits in, something changes, all of a sudden it clicks. And then, hey, old John Q defense over there, he doesn't get to play on the D-line anymore because he's doing so much good work for the offensive side instead.
And we've got to play to our other teams, don't we? And look at what they've got, their strengths, and how we counteract that as well. Yep, happens even in inline and ice hockey. You've got to switch these things up when you need to, and it's just the nature of the games.
Yeah. It's almost it's like if you took rock, paper, scissors and just expanded it out, right?
For sure.
We're running a horizontal, so they're running a zone. So we're going to change the way that we run horizontal, so they're going to change the way they do their zone for this. So we're going to switch to a vertical now.
Yeah.
And it's just sort of stacking those adjustments until you can sort of see, right, who's actually going to come out on top.
Exactly.
And speaking of coming out on top, we've got Le Coq Sportif at the moment to kick things off with a pull. Jean Maehr again, one of the absolute dynamos on this Sportif side. Against a zone defense now. Isaac Leong, near side.
Oh.
A little bit of a slip. Manages to recover. It was Kies. Goes to Sia. Nope.
The sun's come out here in Kirikiriroa. The field is very wet this morning and it's dried up beautifully, so it'll be a little bit different for these players on the grass now. Nice dry field, making their sticks should be a little bit stickier.
Both of the Segedins getting involved in this play here, but it goes back to Leong. Comes back, finds Kies. Big fakes, shoots one through the middle. The defense stifling, but the option to release behind always there. Threading through.
Nice.
Segedin up and over. Puts one on the board. Finding Westerland. Georgia Westerland with the score.
Look at those celebrations. You'll see it in a minute on the field. They are very excited. Looks like they're rowing to the other end.
Well, I mean, I don't know how much time they've spent on the water, but I think they're facing the wrong way if they're trying to score on the right-hand side of your screen at the moment. Nevertheless, 1 point on the board, better than none. There are no bagels on our breakfast buffet this morning. Folks, great work by Westerland to pull that one in. Some good disc movement, some patient work. Kies and Leong doing a huge amount for the AUUC offensive side. Ashley Segedin puts that shot up and over for a beautiful assist. Still a lot in it. A 5-point difference. Le Coq Sportif do not have to work for the disc. If they want to close out the half here, they've got it in hands from the jump.
That's right. Interesting coming into a new sport and the fact that you have to wait till you get to that 7 points before you have the timeout. Not based on time.
Yeah.
Or 7 overall. It's quite an interesting way to do it.
Oh, Lucy, I promise, just be grateful. There have been a couple of seasons. A few years ago, we've had incredibly blustery games in Wellington and Christchurch. And when you've got a strong enough upwind, downwind, you'd be looking at some really low-scoring games because it's just turn, turn, turn. The wind is punishing in some of those locales. And so anything less than perfect precision is a turnover.
Oh, gosh.
The edge of the disc is a millimetre up too high. The wind gets underneath it, catches it like a cup, flips it back, and you've lost 10 yards and the disc. And so you work hard to get it back, and it just keeps swinging those momentums. And you could be 60 minutes into a game, and it could be 5-4, and you're still waiting for an actual proper break. Teams will burn through their timeouts in situations like that because you have no choice. You've got to keep the legs as fresh as you can if you want a good chance to win the game. Strawn available as a reset.
Very interesting way of the games playing. I'm almost surprised that you're allowed to play in Wellington, being the windy capital.
It is, on average, the windiest city in the world. Roberts puts a big one up, looking for Joey Ho again. Oh! Strawn there as support, maybe went up a little bit early, a little bit of miscommunication as to who that one was for.
There was almost 3 of them there. It could have been anybody, really.
Absolutely.
Lucky it wasn't self-contact, because that would have been disappointing. Oh, a drop. That's unfortunate.
Sportif will be looking to make the most. We can see those hand signals, the kind of patting down, hey, everyone stay calm. We're going to take this one easy. We've got Larson with the disc to initiate. They're only about 10 metres out of their own end zone, maybe not even that. So if we see one good shot like that going up, for Angus Halliday, looks like he pulled it down out the back of the end zone a little bit. Too much heat on that one.
Bugger. Here we go.
Huang putting it up. Looking
Lovely.
for Abuela.
Oh, are they gonna
out
give
of
it to him?
bounds. Out of bounds again.
It seems to be that far side just has a little bit of trouble.
It absolutely does. It's one of those perils as well. We haven't got super consistent winds, but when they're blowing, they're typically blowing from the right-hand side of your screen across to the left with maybe a little bit of push. What a take there by Dean. Nice early reset. Finds Curry and gets their second point on the board. And it's one of those things, when you've got a big point differential, you've got 5 points in the game at the moment, these moments mean everything to the underdog. AUUC need every single point. And the part of the peril is that you've got a team like Le Coq Sportif who put on a fantastic performance in the early stages. They had 5 unanswered points. It's a case of, are they letting up the gas? You know?
Yeah.
They've let that one go, and maybe it's, we can let that one go because we're still up by 5.
Well,
we let the next one go, we're still up by 4.
Yeah, and what about the subbing? Like, I see Auckland's got a huge amount of subs by it looks compared to our Australian counterparts there.
Yeah.
So maybe that's playing a little bit into it as well.
Yeah,
the
definitely.
fatigue.
Yeah, I mean, if we look at the roster size as well, we've probably got another 6 or 7 players on that AUUC side compared to Sportif. So we're looking at Sportif at the moment, just a really quick count, and probably going to say around sort of 16 players total compared to 21 or so for the AUUC side. Now, 7 on the line at the moment. If you're swapping every point, and there's 16 players on your team, you're basically playing every other point, as opposed to 1 out of every 3 for a roster size like AUUC. So you have a lot more opportunity to rest and recover with a larger roster. Maybe you get less playing time, but hopefully it means you're fresh enough to make your playing time more impactful.
Exactly, and then when they had that time out before, they were maybe able to switch some stuff up because they had so many players and see what worked better, because they did something and it seemed to have worked. So let's see.
Absolutely. We'll see if it continues to work.
Yes, definitely.
Jean Maehr goes to Betson, working against an AUUC zone this time. So, a lot of focus from the AUUC. They decide to go up and over the top to Garcia. Rankin with a laser show, looking for Walsh. Is 2 behind. Jean Maehr goes to Rankin. Gets a bite out of the defense. A huge commitment to that far sideline to open up that channel back to Jean Maehr. Chatterton can't hit the jump in. Moving targets. But a great territorial possession for them. They've eaten up a lot of the field, and now AUUC have a long road ahead if they want to put another point on the board.
Yeah, great defense there by AUUC as well, just being able to shut those down, making sure they have to do short passes. So let's see if they can make this one count. Going wide on the field now. Going long.
Westland underneath it.
Oh,
Not going to be able to reel that one in. Great immediate awareness of that as well. You can see the high fives afterwards. Game recognized game. Such a good read, though. But who set up these fields?
exactly. And so, female mark female, you can't female mark male?
You absolutely can. And full disclosure, when I was playing, there were quite a few female matching players that I would still dread be marking me even at my height. And it's about grit, it's about grind, it's about the way that they play, particularly when you've got enough experience to allow them to really press you in ways you weren't expecting. Good touch to shut that one down. But you absolutely can. Generally speaking, particularly where you've got like a lot of height dominance for your male players, you'll look to make sure that they're being marked by similarly tall and fast players. So as a general rule, you'd find male matching players will mark male matching players. Not able to secure it, Leong. Hard luck. A chance for Sportif to go back and close out the half. When you start seeing a zone defense, though, that the gender construction means a little bit less even. A beautiful find. Rankin for Garcia to close out the first half as Le Coq Sportif go 7 over AUUC's 2.
Lovely game. It's keeping us really entertained. There's a lot of back and forth, like great defense. Everyone's doing what they're meant to be doing and finding their positions. It's awesome to see.
Every game a masterpiece, folks. We'll see again that little bit of pressure, just enough to generate the turn. But that is going to close out the first half of our round 3 game. I believe it's round 3.
Yes.
Fantastic. Yes. So first half of round 3 goes to Le Coq Sportif. The score is 7-3, I believe. And so we will be back very shortly for the conclusion of this exciting match in Kirikiriroa, Hamilton at the University of Waikato, Te Whare Wānanga o Waikato, where we are hosting the Division 2 New Zealand Mixed Ultimate Championships. My name is Blair Monroe.
And I'm Lucy Henna.
And with the help of Alti TV, come back soon.
Come with us, share our waka, and feel our strength and passion. For this is a place beyond the expected, which constantly surprises. With natural beauty, powerful history, and out-of-this-world experiences. Always far from the ordinary, this is a magical region of villages to play, relax, connect, and exploring. Here, our kaitiaki runs deep, our mana inspires, and unforgettable discoveries are just around the bend. A welcoming place where our people keep it real and experiences become unreal. This is the mighty Waikato. It's all yours to discover.
We're all in this together. We may not be able to completely change the landscape, but what we can do is provide our little support for grassroots projects that are making a profound impact. And what we know is that when we make a profound impact in our own backyards, in our own communities, it ripples across the world. If we all looked in our own backyards to make that change there, then the world really does become a better place, and that's what we're committed to achieving. Well Energy Trust supports energy solutions and investments which enable our communities to thrive, now and into the future.
Always on the move? You can keep up to date with Alti TV on all of our social media channels. Like, follow, subscribe, share us with a friend, or send us a message just to say hey. Thank you for supporting us in our mission to grow Ultimate everywhere.
He's in a great spot. He's in a perfect spot. Yes, his massive head has blocked everything. That was a huge play, but we have seen none of it. Finny, he's done it.
And folks, we are back for the second half of the third round of the Division 2 Mixed Ultimate Championships here in Kirikiriroa, Hamilton. We have Australia's Le Coq Sportif. At some point I'll be able to get a little bit more information, a bit more specificity about where in Australia they are from. It is a big country after all, and a big country has produced some big plays. They've come across and they've walked away with the first half 7-2 over Auckland's AUUC, the Auckland University Ultimate Club. Laser show straight off the bat for Halliday. Wasn't able to toe that one in. Can he finish here? Up and over and around. Joey Ho, 3 scores. Is it 3? Is it 4?
She's getting all the goals. All the goals.
Yeah, at least 3 scores of Le Coq Sportif's 8 belong to number 2, Joey Ho, who has just been doing some phenomenal work in that deep space.
And dancing. Those skills are amazing. So we'll see some more from her, I'm sure, as the day goes on. Great quick start for that second half. Really quick point to just come through.
Absolutely.
Taking it back there. How come they took it back?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So what had happened is Halliday's big run, his momentum carried him through into the end zone, but his first point of contact after securing the disc was outside.
Right, okay.
So if he'd caught it with his foot down in the playing field, the sort of 64-metre stretch we see in front of us, he'd caught it there and his momentum had carried him through. Nope, where that first point of contact was is where he has to come back. So they've just walked back to the front of the end zone, and then he's able to continue that play.
Makes sense.
So, Sportif once again, currently up by 6. They're going to come down on defense again.
Got AUUC there. It must be their coaches there having a chat with them, giving some advice, or some of their more experienced players from across Auckland, just coming in to help them out a bit and would you say guide them of some ideas?
Absolutely. I mean, when you look at sort of the coaching staff, we had Rory Hammond, who's been an AUC stalwart for a donkey's age. One of the nicest guys in New Zealand Ultimate, that's for sure. But lending his leadership to these sort of newer teams, these Division 2 level teams, and almost getting a turnover there by Chatterton with a touch. Couldn't quite. The disc is going to stay in the hands of AUC. The hammer throw over the top, high pressure is going to be a turn.
And that defence style there from number 69 was awesome as well. And it's one thing that Ultimate does, which is quite interesting compared to the sports I've been involved in. And they're pushing them to one side to make that play happen.
Absolutely. Oh, off the fingers of Finger for a turn. But yeah, you're absolutely right. This idea is that when a player has sort of a pivot foot, they can throw kind of on either side of their body. When they're pushed towards one sideline, it's taking away as much of the field as possible. So it creates a lot of defensive pressure, unless you've got the height to just put one up and over the top to find Vincent Dean working back with Huang in the midfield. Franich here. Puts the forehand up. Eaten by Rankin. Oh, body on the line to keep that one in hand. Necessary. That was Betson trying to find Jean Maehr on the upline cut. Couldn't quite connect. It's going to be a turn. Huang puts up the big shot. Who's there? Who's there? Oh, Abuelo. Couldn't quite pull it in. Lo siento, Abue. Big shot into the hands of Lachlan Chatterton, finishing to Garcia. That's Garcia's second point of the game as well. Who run the world? Girls.
We sure do. Couldn't do much without us, eh?
Not for a lack of trying. Not to get too political or anything.
Exactly.
I think we did pretty well. We had a female prime minister, didn't we?
Yeah, exactly.
Moving right along. Le Coq Sportif having gone one again. So they're currently 9 over AUC. They're going to come out on defense again here. We've got Lachlan Roberts in his 2-2. throwing out a couple of cheeky twerking moments before they start off this next defensive point. "50 minutes in. Currently a race to 13 still.
I was watching some of these games earlier, and after I commentated the Morrinsville game, I spoke to the players and I said, "Oh, you know, you had 3 minutes to score 1 point. Did you know?" No, because there's no timer for these guys, eh? They don't know.
It's just when that hooter comes on.
Yeah.
It's the only signal. And I think that there's a benefit to that, particularly when we're playing in an outdoor environment like that. Players don't know how much time they've got left. You've just got to play hard the entire time. I think it does a really good job for sort of developing that mindset, particularly at this like Division 2 and sort of like lower or I guess less involved levels. Big spin pull from Toby Walsh. AUC learning from their mistakes, letting it hit the ground that time. Comes in too low. Strawn. Oh, catch your D's! The second, third, fourth attempt, but he gets possession back for AUC. Great work there. Oh, but all of the good catches, I think, were used up earlier in that possession. We're going to see a turnover there.
So you've got to catch it completely when you're in that scoring zone?
Absolutely. The definitions changed a little bit over the years. They used to talk about stopped rotation. Now they talk about traps between two body parts. Joey Ho couldn't quite get there. But yeah, control of the disc is generally considered to be a sort of stopping point. So that bobble, it's not secure. It wouldn't be a point. So it has to have a controlled catch.
Right.
And so the momentum starts to swing back both ways. The sort of ultimate cuts with both edges. We've got Roberts. A left-handed shot from Larson, nice and long, straight into the waiting hands of David Kearse. Coming back the other way now. Halliday on the mark, lets it go. Eaten up, just outside of Nelson's hands. Chow getting involved, Strawn to Chow. Can they finish here? Can Sportif, is it Joey Ho again? Not quite, it was a great cut, but not enough confidence. The throw goes back. It's going to be Toby Walsh with a layout to secure it. Shut down. Curry putting a stop to that one. Nice and early, circling around. Halliday poaching in that space. Decides to go far sideline, can't connect with Reese Nelson.
Unlucky. It was a really good drive coming through, and really worked really hard. Just needed to finish it off with that catchphrase in there.
Yep. Strawn, big shot. Looking for Chow. Oh, over the top. It's going to be Ben Larson.
Can you get contact on your own team?
You can, but as long as no one gets injured, you're probably not going to call a foul, especially if it leads to a score like that.
Definitely, definitely.
Looks like they're going to call that one.
Very nice.
Larson out of nowhere. Settle down, big fella. Whoa. Easy, Tiger. Lecoq Sportif going 10 over AUUC 2. 3 points away from a big finish here. But as we've seen happen in this tournament already, it's never too late for a rally.
That's for sure. And the winds died down a little bit now as well, so that'll be beneficial for our players as they're making those passes. Don't have to be quite so safe with those smaller ones. So we'll see how we carry on.
Whew, what a take. That big shot from Strawn. Huge amount of whip. You can see just how level that disc is. Really well executed. Yeah, it's one of those things where, I mean, Chow probably had reason to call foul. Not against her own player, but there was a little bit of contact there. But I think it's a case of, let's have a look. Oh, no, Ben's got it. We're not going to worry about it.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world. Probably wouldn't have been the worst idea. I mean, even just to call foul as a matter of course. Hey, there was contact that interfered. and then it would be a case of looking, oh no, he's got it, I'll retract the call. That's an option as well. We talk a lot in the sort of spirit of the game, the idea of it's better to call a foul, discuss it, and go, no, I was wrong, there wasn't a foul, and retract it, than I guess to either just let a call, like, you know, let contact or foul play sort of go unrecognized, I guess.
Right, yes.
Finger sending it. It's going to touch down out of bounds on the far side of the field. So we're going to see a brick call given. Leong with the hand up. There's a little X painted on the middle of the field. We can see about 18 meters in front of the end zone. That's where the disc is going to initiate from. And so we are seeing a zone defense. Le Coq Sportif trying to get space, but Leong's able to break through, pushing towards that far sideline. Comes back around to Curry. A lot of movement around the disc. Leong maybe having a couple of options there they decided not to take. We're going to see a stall count, so that little tap on the head like the alarm clock. The 10 seconds that a player can have in possession of the disc as counted by their opposing counterpart. Once that time has run up, it tells you 10 seconds has passed, and that constitutes a turnover as well.
And they're discussing it, so does that mean there's a disagreement, or they're just clarifying with each other?
Yep, and so you could see the little fist bump there. That tells you it is a contested call. It means they're not going to... I guess not going to agree, but it looks like a turnover was the result of that anyway. Possibly that... oh, what a touch! Great defense there by AUUC.
Here they come. Oh! Calling the foul.
Yeah, so we're starting to see that spirit on display as players are making sure that they call those fouls. Possibly a run through on the release of that one, or on the catch there. A little bit of a handshake.
This is very different compared to normal sports, being self-rec.
Oh, we're not a normal sport?
Sorry. Oh, my goodness.
You heard it here. Sorry, guys. Back on the bus.
I might finish after this one. Maybe we'll get through this game.
No, we love having you here. Yeah.
Other sports, with that foul and discussing it a little bit more, and just having that spirit talk, eh?
Yeah. Oh, great work by Leong to get free there, despite Chatterton closing in. But you're absolutely right. I think the key thing to recognise in the context of Ultimate, the only real consequence to a foul is the disc goes back.
Yes.
You know, there's no sort of penalty. Great intercept by Jean Maehr, to the surprise of very few who have been watching this game. Rankin with the quick offload. Oh, up and over the top. Rankin with the read. Great work there. That Walsh pushes far sideline. There's Betson. Finishes with a nice short-range offload to Rankin to take Sportif to 11.
At 58 minutes, we've still got a bit of time for them to score those other 2 points.
Absolutely, and it's that window is closing on AUUC's chances of a win here.
It would be great for them to close that gap a little bit more. Go back to what they did after that first time out and just maybe have a reset or something. Just regroup and bring those passes through to get another point on the board for them.
Absolutely. I mean, they've shown that they are capable of it. And it's a case of, right, can we see them do it? Oh, that's beautiful. So it's an interesting thing. So we can see there that Jake Betson's a left-hander.
Right.
And typically, demographically, we talk about left-handers making up roughly 10% of the population. It actually skews a little bit higher in Ultimate. I don't know whether or not that's a case of people deciding to learn how to throw with their left hands, or just higher proportion of left-handed people come to the sport, maybe because other sports, all the equipment and stuff is very right-handed dominant. So either way, that kind of recognition, throwing that high around backhand with the outside edge pointing up to curve away and back in towards the field, it can be a tough-ish throw to make as a right-handed player, but the way we saw Betson set that up, it's a really easy throw or I guess easier to control from your forehand throw. So being on that near side, or that far sideline, that channel was available to him that may not have been available in the same way to a right-handed player. Not saying it's impossible, but just in terms of kind of where in the sort of skill levels it is, it's a relatively easy forehand, probably a little bit of harder forehand to control. So great find there by Betson, something that might not have been available to your teammates. Really well done. Franich to start things off for AUUC, working with Huang in the upfield space. We're seeing looking like that zone defense yet again.
And for Div 2, do you have to qualify to come in, or how do we pick these teams?
Yeah, so at the moment, Div 2 is largely open. Division 1 has qualifier events. We've got one for each of the regions. So our northern region, tip of the North Island down through Taupo. Central region's Taupo down to Wellington. And then the entirety of the southern region as a big shot goes up. Halliday, what a take. Momentum's going to swing back the other way. And so our southern region, just everyone on the South Island. So there are 12 spots in Div 1 that are qualified for and a couple of wild cards. Hard bid by Roberts, but it's not going to be enough. You'd think that Tutu would give him like a double jump or something, right?
Yeah, bit of extra lift, eh?
Maybe it flared out on the jump and too much drag slowed him down. So 12 teams for Division 1, which will be happening next week in Christchurch. At the moment, our Division 2 championships is open to any team that doesn't qualify. And sometimes even a team will qualify for Div 1 and they'll decline the bid on the basis they would rather play Div 2.
Okay.
For whatever reason they've decided with their team. Considering the depth of the field, though, it might be a case of having to expand the Division 1 roster to maybe 16 teams and then having a slightly smaller Division 2 to kind of keep things even.
Yes.
If we continue the kind of growth that we've been seeing, particularly with regards to Morrinsville Ultimate and the kind of growth they've put, if we attribute that to the other regions throughout the country, it's not an impossibility that maybe Division 2 has to be expanded to a 3-day tournament to fit everyone in.
3 days, that would be fantastic, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. I think that's Chow with the score. Joey Ho on the other side of the disc for a change, for a score.
Yes.
A beautiful put there. That's going to take Sportif within 2 of the win, I believe. Oh, just 1. So the score is now 12-2. We're going to see that again. Halliday with a nice, gentle upline cut. You can see there, almost unmarked. Franich a little on the back foot, allows Ho to get that disc open in front of the end zone, popping one up and over to Christy Chow for the score to take them 1 away from the win. So it looks like we're going to have a timeout called, probably by AUUC, I would imagine, just considering that they've given up quite a few points in a row and it's time to, again, reconsolidate, have that discussion. What do we need to do to change things up? As we've talked a little bit, the Swiss draw and the way that it works, every game makes a difference. If you perform particularly poorly in a game, you're going to find yourself up against another team, maybe who's a little bit lower than your level. And you're not going to sort of get those competitive games. You're going to swing from tough loss to maybe sort of easy win. And so sort of experientially, when you think about what the purpose of a season is, particularly at this Div 2 level, are you getting out what you needed to in order to grow as a club, as a community, as a team? So it'll be nice to see AUUC pick things up, make a bit of a change. The Mount has already printed the blueprint for you guys. You just have to follow it. Sportif only 1 point away from a win here. So they'll come out on defense after the break of the huddle. And if they can generate a break here, that's going to be sewing up the game.
And I see the time keeps going as you have your timeouts. So is there a time limit on that kind of time? Or
yeah, so timeouts, I think, are about 75 seconds or so. So not a huge amount of time. Timeout, like half times, we would say sort of typically about sort of 5 minutes.
Right.
Generally, just enough time for everyone to get some water and catch their breath a little. Timeouts, much, much shorter. And so they should break, or should be, any minute now. I
noticed as well when my son's been playing in tournaments, and I spoke earlier about the athletic ability of these players. One tournament he was in, he played a 50-minute game, had a 10-minute break, 50-minute game, 10-minute break, 5 games in a day, and cooking hot sun, middle of summer, and I was just like, holy, how? Yep.
Yeah.
What other sports does do that? Like that ability to be able to play is just nuts.
And I think that one of the things, particularly when we're looking at the way, like sort of Ultimate in its current size, I guess, in New Zealand and I suppose in Australia and a lot of other countries around the world, is we don't play in leagues at this level as often, right? So Canterbury Ultimate, for example, they might be running a league that goes for sort of 6 weeks, 7 weeks, whatever. You enter a team and you're playing. From there, you're probably going to transition into the early tryout stages for different teams in your region. Other than qualifying tournaments and scrimmages, you don't get as much playing time as a team against other teams as you might like. And so what typically happens is we end up finishing on a tournament as opposed to having a series of leagues and then having, you know, like a game a week kind of thing and then finishing out at the end of a season. So it all comes down to, you know, you're playing sort of 2 hours practice a week. And then your real test is, can you do this for 2 days without stopping?
Yeah. I give credit to these athletes because it is a lot faster than I expected. The jumping and the switching of that running and the quick switches.
Yeah.
And even just the skill in throwing the disc.
Oh, yeah.
It's not going to the beach and throwing a Frisbee in the sand. Like, Tony's been trying to teach me for a long time, and I say to him, just don't worry anymore, Tony. I'm not switching, so we'll be okay.
Yeah.
But that ability, and though when we see them throw it from one end of the field to the other, the skill involved in that.
Absolutely.
Amazing.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about the way that they're throwing and the way that they're using the entirety of their body to calibrate the distance, the amount of torque they're generating through, like, sort of hip explosivity, which, you know, you're going to get from doing the jumping and the sprinting. But also your aerobic recovery is important too. And that's a thing that has to be trained in a completely different way. You know, you can go out and you can do your 5Ks and you can do those and have a really good aerobic base, but that doesn't translate as well to just being able to sprint for 10, 15 seconds at a time. And then the flip side, if all you're doing is sprinting, your recovery between points maybe isn't going to be as effective. So they've got to balance all of these different physical components in order to become athletic to a standard where they can compete at this level for 2 full days. It's phenomenal.
Yes, definitely.
Nice hammer over the top. Leong puts the big shot up. Walsh is underneath. It's going to be Walsh. Oh, no, sorry, finger. My mistake. Comes back around, finds Betson. Jean Maehr. Nice quick give and go. Finger to Betson again. Rankin's pushing into the deep space. Garcia's there though. What a take and a game. That's how you finish it, folks. Le Coq Sportif coming over from Australia to put on a phenomenal performance in their first stream game throughout the course of our Division 2 Mixed Ultimate Championships. Whew.
That was good.
Yeah.
That was good.
I could not have said it better myself. Well done to both of these teams. The scoreline looking a little bit lopsided, but AUUC did manage to stage a little bit of a comeback towards the end of the first half. They managed to rally a little bit, but the second half, all the momentum was for LCS. So well done to both of those teams. A huge thank you to our sponsors, Well Energy Trust Limited, and the University of Waikato, on whose fields we are playing today. But from the crew here at Ulti TV, my name is Blair Munro.
And I'm Lucy Henna.
We will be back with you soon. If you like what you see and you want to help us keep bringing the best sport in the world to your humble screens, head on over to patreon.com/ultitv. Give us your spare change. You're not using it. For the last time until the next time, thank you so much for watching. We'll be back very soon.
Ulti.tv